Lesson 28 today is about angles. And the first question we have says, name the acute angle in the figure. Now, acute angle. An acute angle, do you know what that is? Do you know what an acute angle is? Well, an acute angle is just an angle that is less than 90 degrees. So if we're looking at what less than 90 degrees means, we need to know exactly what 90 degrees is. 90 degrees for an angle has one perfectly straight vertical line and one perfectly straight horizontal line. And we can show that just like this. So this is a 90-degree angle. So if we want to figure out an angle that's less than 90 degrees, it's going to have to be smaller than this angle. It's going to have less space that it takes up between one of our rays and the other rays. So if we look at the acute angle in the figure, well, we've got two different angles here. We've got one that we can see right now, and then we've got a second angle that we can see right here. Remember, the acute angle is less than 90 degrees, and we know 90 degrees would be approximately right here, because it forms perpendicular lines. One that's perfectly horizontal, one that's perfectly vertical. So, the acute angle, the one that's less than 90 degrees, where the two rays are closer to each other, must be right here. It must be from D to B to C. Or we could say from C to B to D. Now the way we're going to write that, name the acute angle in the figure, it's going to be called angle, and this is our angle symbol, angle D to B to C. D to B to C. Or it could be angle C to B to D. Notice that the B is always in the middle, because that's the middle of the angle. So we can go in either direction to figure out what our answer is. Both of these answers are correct, and either one of these answers will get you full credit. Let's go ahead and look at our next example. Okay, we want to name the obtuse angle in the figure. And the obtuse angle, well, obtuse. Do you know what obtuse means? The definition of obtuse is just greater than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees. So, if we look at our figure, well, we know 90 degrees would be right here, approximately, because we want perpendicular lines, one horizontal, one vertical. That's 90 degrees. 180 degrees would be two 90-degree angles put together, so 180 degrees would have to be an exact straight line. An exact straight line with a dot in the middle is called a straight angle. Now, name the obtuse angle. Which one is greater than 90 degrees here? We've got two angles again. We called it the second angle originally on our first slide, so we'll call it the same thing here. And we've got our first angle over here on the left. When we have an obtuse angle that's greater than 90 degrees, the rays will be further apart from each other. It must be this one on the left. It must go from A to B to D. Or we could say from D to B to A. So we're going to name that angle A, B, D. Or we can call it angle D, B, A. And we've got the right answer both times. Let's go ahead and look at our next example. In the figure, angle D is a right angle. So angle D, that must be right here, because there's only one angle D. Okay? When we draw a box next to it, it means it's a right angle. And a right angle, remember, a right angle is just a 90-degree angle. Which other angle is a right angle? Well, angle A. If we look at angle A, those two lines are very close to each other. Angle A, that must be an acute angle. Angle B, if we look at that, those two lines or segments, they're very far from each other. So angle B, that must be an obtuse angle. Let's look at angle C. Well, they're not close and they're not far. They're exactly the same distance apart as the segments in D. So angle C must be our other right angle. So we can put angle C as our answer. Now whenever we're measuring angles, we're going to use a tool called a protractor. Let's take one out. Got a protractor here, and the way we use the protractor, we can rotate it. We're going to move it down, and to figure out a 90-degree angle, what we can do is we can put the point where the two perpendicular lines meet, right here, on the vertex. So that means put it where our segments meet together, just like this. And if we measure our angle, angle C, right here, you can see that's perfectly 90 degrees. If we were to measure angle B, we'll set it up like this, and you can see it comes from flat, and then it goes out diagonally, and you can see it's between about, let's make this a little bigger, you can see it's between about 60 and 50, or 120 and 130. Now we know this is an obtuse angle. It's greater than 90 degrees. So our answer must be between 120 and 130, not 60 and 50. Because 120 and 130 are obtuse, whereas between 60 and 50 would be acute, less than 90 degrees, where obtuse is greater than 90 but less than 180. So this angle B, if we approximate it, it looks like it's about right here. That would be 123 degrees. If we needed to measure it, we just found our answer. Let's close out our protractor. Our lesson practice will be on page 144 and 145. Please make sure you've got your notes completed. Bring your protractor to class tomorrow, just like this. If you don't have one, I've got a couple extra for you to borrow. We'll practice using them in class, measuring some angles, and have a nice afternoon.